let's take a look at the schedule for Week 12 in the NBA and looking at ways that you can maximize your fantasy team's production. We'll start by looking at the team with the best schedule for the week, and that is the Orlando Magic. They're fairly much tied with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Both those teams have 4 games with equal in terms of ease of our schedule. We'll talk about the Magic here first. They do have all 4 of their games on the road, but Charlotte, the Bulls, and the Timberwolves, all really solid matchups for those guys, and they finish the week against the Clippers. 2 of those games are quality games as well. The Thunder, the same. They've got 2 of their games as quality games. They take on the Mavericks, the Lakers, the Blazers, and the Wizards. So on an individual basis, guys from those teams, adding them, especially to weekly lineup locks, are going to give you the most sort of value in comparison to other teams. So guys like Terrence Ross, John Isaac, Jeremy Grant, Dennis Schroeder, DJ Augustin, even Nerlens Noel, they can get a boost and they can have some weekly lock value as opposed to teams with perhaps harder schedules or fewer games. So they've got the best schedule for this week coming up. The Knicks, on the other hand, have the worst schedule. The only team with 2 games. I see absolutely 0 Knicks players who should be starting in weekly lock leagues in 10, 12, 14, or probably even 16 team leagues. The only guy that really comes close there is Tim Hardaway. And the guys that you would add, maybe like Luke Cornett, it's hard to consider adding him and holding him for just 2 games this week when we don't know what's going to happen with Enes Kanter and Mitchell Robertson. Guys like Emmanuel Mudiay, Noah Vonleh, who are all producing nice value. You're just going to get very little out of them for this week. And for the next couple of weeks, the Knicks also have pretty poor fantasy schedules as well. So that's somewhat of a concern, but not a great week for the Knicks when looking at their overall fantasy value for this upcoming week. Let's look to preview this week now. There are 9 teams that have 4 games. 20 teams have 3 games, and just the one, the Knicks, who has the 2-game schedule. Really, it's always annoying when you get one of those teams that does have that 2-game week like the Knicks do. We've got New Year's Eve this week, so some interesting start times for some of the games. In terms of how the week breaks down, we've got 7 games Monday, 5 games Tuesday, so really good streaming options there. 9 games Wednesday. That's a bit of a lighter Wednesday, and then normally my streaming cutoff is 8 games. 9 you can still stream occasionally. You got 3 games Thursday, and then it gets busier at the back end of the week. 10 games Friday, 8 games Saturday, and 7 games Sunday. So you can still stream Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. So a week where we've got 5 really strong stream target days, and you could potentially stream every single day, with that Friday and Wednesday being the iffy ones, especially Friday with 10 games. But you could make an argument, and depending on how your roster shakes out, that you're going to have open active roster slots on 6 of those 7 days, making streaming a real possibility for this week. For the terms of the value in teams where we're looking at streaming, the Toronto Raptors have the best value there. They have 4 games, but all 4 of their games come on low volume quality game days. They play Tuesday, they play Thursday, they play Saturday, and they play Sunday. So rounding out that week on a back-to-back, that means guys like Freddie VanVleet, maybe even someone like the Jedi OG Anunoby you could have a look at. But most of their other guys are rostered. Pascal Siakam, Serge Ibaka, Kyle Lowry, of course. If Lowry remains injured, Delon Wright gets a little bit of a boost. Dan Green gets significant value boost as well in this situation with 4 games on those quality days. If we're looking at other situations to try and stream, Monday, Tuesday is a back-to-back for potential streaming options. There is no back-to-back being played there. Of course, with the New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, the NBA wouldn't be that unkind to schedule that. Tuesday, Thursday, the next pseudo back-to-back. We've got the Raptors with that combination. The Nuggets have that combination as well. The Sacramento Kings also have that back-to-back situation. So streaming a guy in and getting 2 games for the price of 1 there could be relevant. Then we go Thursday, Saturday. You've got the Raptors, of course, who have that combination. The Denver Nuggets, they've got 3 quality games. Only 3 games this week for the Nuggets, but all 3 of those games come on low volume days, so that's a positive. The Warriors have the Thursday, Saturday pseudo back-to-back as well, as do the Kings, another one of those teams with 3 games, all of them being quality games. And the Houston Rockets have that Thursday, Saturday. And to close out the week, for the Saturday, Sunday back-to-back, we've got the Raptors, of course. You've got the Hornets also, who have that back-to-back across the weekend. So there's some teams to target to try and maximize your games played if you've got waiver acquisition limits for the week. And then some players who to look at, especially for weekly leagues, guys you could be able to add who could have value that might be on your wire and better than your worst player on your roster. Marvin Williams, a guy that is putting up some pretty strong numbers. He can be inconsistent, but the Hornets have a pretty good schedule with 4 games on this week. Kyle Anderson's a must roster player anyway, but if you're on the fence, you grab him for this week. Terrence Ross, I talked about earlier with the Magic. McCall Bridges of the Phoenix Suns has a pretty strong week ahead of him. Fred VanVleet, Kevin Huerter, who my pronunciation of him is all over the place. I think it's Huerter, but I do think it's been Americanized to pronounce as Herter, which I'm 100% positive it never was the pronunciation of his name. Maybe that was generations ago, but here we are. So I'll go with Kevin Huerter then, because that's what he is going with. Jeremy Grant, another option there, who should be rostered in all leagues but isn't. He's got a great situation for this week ahead with those 4 games with great ease. John Isaac, another Magic player with that strong schedule, and Kent Bazemore. Although Bazemore now, before I created this graphic, has now been ruled out for the next 2 weeks with an ankle injury. So, of course, we're not looking at him anymore. So that does it for your weekly preview for Week 12 in the NBA. Good luck setting your lineups, and hopefully you can have some success this week.